ODSTs, or Orbital Drop Shock Troopers, are one of the most recognizable pieces of the Halo universe, and a personal favorite of mine. These elite soldiers are the pinnacle of humanity in the 26th century. Only the Spartans ranked above them in terms of their combat skill and notoriety. Nonetheless, the Helljumpers garnered an outstanding record during the insurrection and, of course, the Human Covenant War. The ODSTs are very much akin to the real-world Navy SEALs or Green Berets, an elite group of volunteers used as small strike teams to break enemy lines, maintain strategic positions, or eliminate high-value targets. Where Marines would be taken to the ground via Pelican or other transport, ODSTs get into their drop pods and are rocketed towards the surface from orbit. From the moment they touch down, they are in deep enemy territory with only themselves and their squad mates to rely on. In this video, I'll be explaining all there is to know about these elite troopers. In the 20th and 21st centuries, the strategy of inserting units from the air became prevalent with the creation of paratroopers. These units would prove their effectiveness in various human conflicts. The advancement of human technology cascaded into an evolution of the paratroopers. When aerial combat became space combat, the paratroopers were transformed into the ODSTs. Given the change of being dropped from a plane to now being dropped from low orbit, a delivery system had to be devised. This is where we get the ODST insertion pod, capable of delivering a soldier from space onto the battlefield within minutes. In 2163, the UNSC, or United Nations Space Command, would be formed from the various national Earth militaries. This also marked the creation of the UNSC Marine Corps, as well as the ODSTs as an elite branch of troopers. Opposing ideologies challenged the UNSC's leadership, resulting in what is known as the Interplanetary Wars. This conflict would see the first deployment of the ODSTs against the neo-communist Kosleviks colonists on Mars. The ODSTs would prove themselves as an invaluable military asset and would be recognized as a special forces unit above that of the standard Marines. But after the Interplanetary War's conclusion in 2170, the UNSC no longer needed such military power. So, in the following years, the ODSTs, alongside all the UNSC military, were slowly defunded. Problems such as overpopulation and famine simply outweigh the need for these costly military assets. Humanity would invent the Shah-Fujikawa drive, allowing for faster-than-light travel through transitions to and from slipstream space. Over the next 300 years, humanity would use this technology to traverse the galaxy, colonizing hundreds of planets. But with such a large distance from humanity's governing body on Earth, the colonists soon became disillusioned with the UEG's authority, planting the future seed of rebellion. The resurgence of the ODSTs would come in the 2490s as anti-UNSC sentiment festered in Earth's outermost colonies. These insurrectionists were truly not unfounded in their beliefs. The UEG would often exploit and forget about the needs of the outer colony worlds in favor of Earth and its innermost colonies. And so many colonists began resisting the United Earth government. In response, the UNSC's Marines and ODSTs would be deployed across various colony worlds to maintain the UEG's rule and prevent insurrectionist attacks. The ODSTs would be saved for the most integral missions, requiring a soldier deadlier and more capable than a standard Marine. However, even the ODSTs didn't seem enough to tackle the insurrectionists. The UNSC needed an even more elite group of soldiers, a group that would go beyond human capabilities. The Orion program would be reignited. The basic premise would be to take already highly skilled soldiers, often ODSTs, and augment them to superhuman levels. One of these Orion candidates was Sergeant Avery Johnson himself. He, alongside other soldiers, would be enhanced with faster reflexes, higher strength, speed, and durability. But 27 years into the insurrectionists, the UNSC could see that these measures were not enough. To fully realize the potency of these enhancements, the candidates would have to be children. So Section 3 of ONI would kidnap children, train and augment them, making the first Spartan IIs often considered the first true Spartans. The ODSTs didn't take kindly to their position as the UNSC's de facto special forces being taken by ONI lab rats. The Spartans for the most part paid no mind to this. However, when 4 ODSTs tried to attack a teenage Master Chief, he, in self-defense, killed them in hand-to-hand combat. This only worsened the relationship. Many ODSTs saw the Spartans as psychopaths, and in all actuality, it's hard to disagree with them. Edward Buck regarded the Spartan IIs as a bunch of glory-hungry bullet catchers. Despite this, the two never refused to work with one another or had any other recorded altercations. For the most part, ODSTs and Spartans had a great deal of respect for each other. Now I want to take a minute to look at the training needed to become one of these elite troopers. After completion of basic military training, soldiers can elect to undergo the additional training necessary to become an ODST. For the first 3 weeks, all personnel are put through debilitating physical training, including obstacle courses, daily runs, and general strength training. Because the environments that ODSTs deploy to vary significantly, the obstacles include several physical conditions, such as urban environments, rain, snow, desert, and so on. These sessions often include live fire simulated bullets mere inches from trainees' heads. Because of the unique way in which Helljumpers deploy to the battlefield, candidates also practice falling from great heights in preparation for their transorbital drops. Often, soldiers are hesitant to volunteer for ODST training out of fear of being washed out of the program, as failure is seen as a great dishonor upon one's military record. After the 3 weeks of physical training, remaining candidates undergo squad training tactics. In the field, ODSTs only have their fellow squad mates to rely upon, so teamwork is paramount to a Helljumper's survival. Each trainee is given a full set of ODST gear, including weapons loaded with TTR or tactical training rounds. The candidates are dropped off at the base of a mountain and instructed to reach the top with all their squad mates no matter what. Drill instructors accompany each squad and occasionally fire TTR rounds at the trainees. Getting hit by one of these rounds causes temporary paralysis in the area. If trainees are shot in the leg and unable to walk, they are forced to climb to the peak of the mountain. Following this training, candidates are also trained in general squad tactics through various simulated battles using TTR rounds. Fire teams are assessed on individuals' performance, but most of all the performance of the fire team as a whole. After all of this, trainees can officially join the ranks of the legendary Helljumpers. Certain promising candidates may also undergo additional specialized training. For example, the bullfrogs we see on New Alexandria in Halo Reach would have undergone additional jetpack and air assault training. Another example is that of Morgan Kinsana, who upon completion of ODST training was assigned to the Special Tactics and Equipment Group as a Hellbringer. She would eventually lead the ODST Firestorm Battle Group, which specializes in anti-infantry warfare. ODSTs are well known in the UNSC for their tenacity in combat. Due to the extreme nature of the missions Helljumpers are deployed to, they often possess psychological characteristics unique to their branch of the UNSC. Many ODSTs uphold what they call a commando state of mind, meaning they can accomplish anything given the right attitude. Among their peers, ODSTs are often carefree and quite sociable. However, among members outside of the organization, they're often seen as stoic and overtly unfriendly, while still maintaining a relatively carefree attitude. Because of these psychological aspects, ODSTs have made a name for themselves among not only the UNSC, but also humanity as capable of any task they are assigned. Unlike other UNSC branches, ODST officers lead from the front. The orbital insertion pods have a protocol dictating that the commanding officer's SOEV should accelerate after an ODST unit is deployed, allowing for the officer to be placed ahead of the rest of the unit's drop pods. This is because of the strong ODST belief that officers should lead their troops to battle and be willing to put themselves in the same danger as their subordinates. Leaders among the Helljumpers' ranks who can effectively control their subordinates are often rare to find. This is likely due to the demoralizingly short life expectancy of an ODST officer. Despite this, the officers accept these grim statistics and are in fact proud that most officers arise from within their ranks, inspired by the acts of heroism and bravery by preceding officers. Produced by Mizraya Armory, vacuum-rated, and capable of extravehicular activity for 15 minutes, ODST armor is top-of-the-line gear for UNSC troops. The armor provides significant ballistic protection, temperature control, and thermal insulation. These properties protect ODSTs from both conventional bullets as well as Covenant energy weapons. Of course, the armor is nowhere near the level of protection of a suit of Mjolnir, not to mention the lack of shielding, but ODSTs can expect to take far more damage and come out unscathed compared to your standard Marine. That said, throughout the Human Covenant War, ODST armor went through several design changes. These changes were mostly adaptations taken from Mjolnir armor and integrated into the ODST systems. These include ceramic titanium composites for protective plating, and heads-up display and communication systems integrated to the wearer's helmet. Following the Human Covenant War, the need for the child soldier Spartan program had come to an end. However, the UNSC still needed military security given the grave threats the galaxy still held. So the Spartan 4 program would be devised. Instead of kidnapping children, the program would take highly skilled existing soldiers and augment them to super soldier levels. Notably, ODSTs were often recruited for such procedures, such as Edward Buck. Overall, this program was very similar to the original Spartan 1 program. However, technology and augmentations had been significantly improved. Not to mention, Mjolnir-powered assault armor had improved drastically with better shielding technology, higher degree of protective plating, and communication systems. Post-Human Covenant War, the Spartan Force have really transformed into a competing branch to the ODSTs. As augmentations become more and more prevalent, it's possible that almost all members of the UNSC military would be eventually physically augmented. But we will just have to wait to see if such a thing ever happens in the Halo universe. And that's everything you should know about the Orbital Drop Shock Troopers. ODSTs are one of my favorite pieces of the Halo universe, and I've been disappointed that their appearance has been limited in recent Halo lore. I would really like to see a Halo game set in the perspective of an ODST once more. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on ODSTs in the comments down below, and as always, thank you for watching.